So Ethereum is undervalued. I'm going to show you why, and also 4 other assets are undervalued. So hi everyone, welcome to the channel. If you are new, please do subscribe, hit the bell button, like and comment, and I hope you enjoyed the very quick and different intro that I am now running. So you're probably speaking to me about, or probably already typing to me saying, how can you even suggest that Ethereum is undervalued? Well, we're going to look at the BTC pairs, but I want to kind of draw your attention to the first one on here, which is Voyager. I mentioned this in a tweet yesterday about Voyager starting to move, and it's starting to really move now. Now, if you've never heard of it and never seen it before, it was the Ethos token and also Bitcoins back in the day. It's got taken over by executives from Uber, and they're building a broker in the US looking to get, regulated and kind of authorized in all states. I know in America it's a nightmare to buy crypto, and this is one solution, and they're bringing out all kinds of good stuff. So this is number one. I think this is majorly undervalued, even though it's pumped massively. If I go to like the Bitcoin chart, which I've kind of, as you can see, so it's absolutely savage in my opinion that it's so undervalued, and this is what we're looking at. We're looking at a potential nice retracement here. It's already went up to like roughly the 50% mark, and that is a huge parabolic move. And when you zoom out, it's crazy when you think about it. So this used to be like $10, but as I say, it's been taken over, it's been bought out. It's totally different. So that's the cool thing. But let's talk about the other ones as well that I want to mention. I want to talk about Ethereum because I mentioned this yesterday. Like it's undervalued, and people are like, what, how? The dominance chart, as I've been alluding to over the last few days, few weeks and months and all kinds of stuff like that, it's high. And this means that bargain bucket prices essentially for the altcoins, as you can see in the past, been a lot higher. And we've also been a lot higher this year. This was September time, the last alt season that we had, the last little run down to 57% dominance. It was more to buy what? It's crazy when you think about it. If you had Bitcoin you bought here, you would have lost so many Satoshis. Now, this is why people get excited in terms of alt season. Look at that, a 43% drop. Starting to move now. Starting to realistically, in my opinion, move, and I'm getting quite excited to think about it. So if we're looking overall at where we could go with this, yes, we can go much higher if you're looking at the swing. And I think we will go much higher. So there you go. As I said though, you don't have to just buy with Bitcoin. You can buy with USD and also just forget about the dollar value and just look at the BTC value, because you may make a couple of Bitcoin from a very simple transaction. It sounds really silly and obvious, but some of these altcoins, which are undervalued in my opinion, could make you 500% in that currency. Simple as that. And like if you've got 0.1 Bitcoin into an asset, an altcoin, at current live values right now, and it does a 500% move, because they are, honestly, I can't even explain it anymore. They are on the fucking floor, and they really are. When you think the fact that, Ethereum is now all-time high levels in fiat, but it's actually 40% lower, and it has been 40% lower in BTC, it's crazy. The one thing that people do not understand is the dollar correlation between that and the Satoshis. Just because Bitcoin is 4 times higher than what it was, or 3 times higher, sorry, and higher than it was in September time, that is because this is happening now. You can see it. Ethereum, look at the jump in it. Look at the increase in price of the fiat value. Look at the drop in this because of the Bitcoin dominance. Just remember that. So Ethereum number one, in my opinion, if you've got some spare Bitcoin, spare profit of Bitcoin laying around that you want to use, Ethereum in the BTC pairs looks quite tasty in terms of a potential push higher. If it breaks beyond this structure, and what I will say is this as well, if we're looking from this, like, let's just say from this low here to this high, we've went to the 618 perfectly. The next swings could actually be even higher than these and these different ones. This one's obviously from them regions as well. You got to look at where these levels are structured. This is why these are highlighted for levels of previous levels of structure, as you can see in the past. But if we're looking for a swing high, we could be looking here very easy. Let's just say from current price action, that's 57%, that's 84%. Still, in my opinion, for an Ethereum, undervalued as it stands. But the next one is even more remarkable. It is actually Cardano. Now Cardano, look at it, it's crazy. It's still like looking mega crazy. And when you look at the last alt season, it did a parabolic move from this low about 235% there. Crazy in 98 days. It was a monumental move. But what have we got now? We've actually, like, when we look at the weekly time frame, we're looking at this overall. In my opinion, this will probably retrace this level quite easily, and it already has had a bit of an attempt of it. But when you think to the fact of where we are currently now and where this top is, that's 108%, 109%. That's scary. But when you zoom out though, boys and girls, it could actually go a lot higher. We could be looking at all kinds of levels from 2018 levels. We never know how far this dominance is going to drop. If it does drop like a stone, well, boom. You know, you're going to make a lot of Bitcoin. And that's what I addressed yesterday. I feel the scarcity in Bitcoin right now is going to scare people a little bit more into a supply shock kind of element of, let's buy altcoins, let's push these BTC charts up. When these charts go up and money flows into the altcoins to make Bitcoin, they're going to be worth more. They're going to go up in value, then they can sell into Bitcoin. And ultimately, yeah, it's going to change the game massively. It will bring Bitcoin down, but it will bring down the dominance as well, which will obviously mean that it's going to be very, very interesting for how the altcoin strength is. It may be the last time that we're going to get a proper long alt season. Maybe, I don't know. But I do feel that there will always be periods where altcoins are more dominant than Bitcoin, but how parabolic will it go? So that's the thing. If there is a supply shock and people want Bitcoin, they will buy altcoins to get it because they'll pump them. Simple as that. Moving on to the next one. And I do think Polkadot as well is, in my opinion, very much undervalued when you look at where it's been. When you look at the exchange listing in BTC, let's just go from this point. Let's not worry too much about the slippage side of it. We'll go from these body closures. It actually dropped about, to the wick, 65%. That's crazy. And if you're thinking, well, let's think logically here. Let's just go from this point here. And we are going to retrace this gap. And it's on the nose. It's retraced nicely. Even if we go from current live pricing up to this point here, even up to the 786 regions, maybe 89%. You know, if you've got like half a Bitcoin, that's nearly it's a huge gain realistically. That's massive. You know, when you think about it, in my opinion. So it's all about timing the market, understanding how these work, and when you look at all these. But what I will say is, these are where the opportunities are to make Bitcoin, to grow wealth, and not worry too much. Now, I want to address something. I had a direct message yesterday about this topic of conversation. One person sent me their portfolio showing me that what I was saying was absolutely remarkable, and they wish they knew it ages ago. And we're all the same. We've all been hurt by this sort of situation. When you're buying Bitcoin and you're not looking at the overall values of your Bitcoin Satoshis, you're going to get hurt, because when you buy when USD value is going up and then the Bitcoin dominance goes up, ultimately you're bleeding out massively. And this person's lost like 97% of their portfolio, essentially, by buying at the wrong time. You know, buying when the dominance was so low and then it went high and then they lost it. But they're up in fiat. But ideally what should have happened was, if you bought in Bitcoin, you would have made way more money because you would have kept those Satoshis. So the next one I want to address is actually the Plu token. Now, random spike, I know, but when you actually zoom in on this, and I've mentioned this a few times in a few videos recently, this is like crazy. Like this, I've put these levels on here, but this isn't a closed candle yet. But when you think about this in terms of it's a 4 million market cap coin, if that even retraces to the 618, sorry, on this level, it's 828%, which is crazy moves. And this is a low cap altcoin. Low cap altcoins will always fly the most. They always will. They always will yield that sort of like prestige of let's make a lot of money very quickly. But they are very, very risky. As you can see, look at the drop. The drop is horrendous. But maybe we may well retrace that with the developments that they're bringing up, with the token getting more adoption, with it going in Asia, getting banking licenses, all kinds of stuff like that. The liquidity is going to increase with the token listings that they've got on KuCoin, you know, Bitfinex and stuff like that. So it's always interesting to look at that. But for me, I'm looking at these altcoins and I'm seeing the ones that I've got an interest in, and I see them undervalued, and people are looking at that dominance chart going, when's it going to drop? When's it going to drop? When's it going to drop? When it drops, you'll know about it. You'll see it. The last few days, it dropped a little bit. It's gone back up again. But when you look at the dominance chart, just to give you a pointer, it's looking really damn good. Obviously, yesterday's video. Yes, it's pulled back up quite remarkably. But when you look overall at the grand scheme of things in terms of market structure, you know, for me, we may well be turning around very much soon, in my opinion. I just want to put that out there. we may well be on the next swing going down, where this could be the retest of the resistance level, and then we may actually have sentiment changing because Bitcoin's just in another all-time high retest. Smashed it, by the way, 41k, well done. But we may well be starting to tail off. People will take profits. People will spill over into those Bitcoin pairs. So moving back on to altcoins that are undervalued, in my opinion, we've obviously had Ethereum. I've already mentioned Voyager. I've already mentioned Cardano. I've already mentioned Polkadot. I've already mentioned Pluto. And there's loads of them. They're all over the place. Literally in every single altcoin is literally undervalued. Look at Zilliqa as well for an example. Zilliqa's just, did amazing, dropped off massively again, right? Just the way it is. And things retrace, things always correct, but that is a huge move. But when you look overall at this one as well, this is really interesting. In my opinion, I think we will probably hit this level anyways. But realistically, when you look at the grand scheme of things, it's still undervalued, and you can still probably yield a lot of Satoshis out of this, in my opinion, versus the dollar version of it. So when you look, and again, zoom out, look at where it's been in the past, 600 sats. Look at where it's been in the past, 1,255 sats. Crazy. If the dominance drops, and I mean drops, you will really notice it, and you will be like, wow. You'll toggle your block folio or your delta wrap, and you'll be like, whoa, what's happened here? And then that's where you take your profit into Bitcoin, and you hold onto Bitcoin for a bit, and then rebuy back into some altcoins with percentages. Keep your percentage ratios quite neat and tidy, and then just rinse and repeat. Really, when dominance goes high again, you're going to be up more in fiat. As simple as that, because Bitcoin is pumping, and those Satoshi values of these altcoins will probably drop like a stone again. It's the way the market is. We're never going to get away from the fact until a lot of coins become more dominant than Bitcoin. Right now, Bitcoin's king, and we may well see a change in dominance very, very soon. But for me, as an investor, I'm excited about the next few months. I really am. I think this dominance is so high, it's going to drop at some point. Even if we drop down to 60, 65, not even 65, let's be honest. If we go, I reckon below 63, we're going to start noticing a bit of a shift. I think if we go below 60, it's going to get interesting. Then 55, maybe even lower than that, things will get very, very interesting for these pairs. Remember these pairs. As always, I like to talk about them in USD price because it's easy. A lot of people don't understand. But what I will say is this. Look at every single altcoin. Most of them are really undervalued in the Satoshi levels. Buy with USD if you want. Just profit in Bitcoin if you're looking at this chart, because you will grow Bitcoin. More Bitcoin will make life easier.